Hey guys, welcome to another session of Theorycraft. Today we have our topic. This is posed and asked by a ton of people on YouTube and even people who may be new players that come to our Discord server. We get asked a lot, not just me, my whole community gets asked a lot. Should I unit of choice this unit, or who should I UoC? This will be a common question going throughout, and I think intermediate to like beginners, most likely this would be the question, and even some advanced players. Sometimes, maybe you're choosing between two units that could benefit you, and maybe you're asking your friends, your community, hey man, which one would you unit of choice? Today we're going to kind of talk about this. Now obviously that question itself is very subjective to the actual person asking it, and also the people giving the response is very, very biased toward what they think how to use unit of choice. So I'm going to say right off the bat, this topic is going to be kind of like it's not doesn't really make sense, like why even talk about it, but I kind of want to talk about the practicality of it at least. So some new players can consider some certain aspects before diving into some unit of choice. And again, of course, I'm doing this live, so we do have a bit of people on the stream here joining. Let's see here. Midnight, are you going to UoC someone? No, I'm not going to unit of choice someone. And he says unit of choice Wilhelm. So I won't unit of choice Wilhelm, and I'm going to use that as one of our leaping points to the topic here. So right now, we all should have about the same amount of tickets. If you started since the unit of choice tickets were introduced, we all should have 12 right now. Maybe -1 if you couldn't grind the King Mog event. So if you click this, you can see the limited pool that's available to unit of choice. So the rules, at least on global right now, is anyone that has a 7-star released, you're able to unit of choice, whether that be an old generation unit or brand new units. You're able to unit of choice them. However, there is a little caveat there that you need to wait for the banner to leave. So for example, right now at the moment of this recording, we have a batch release of Roberta, Ayaka, etc. So technically that unit is available already, but their 7-star has just been quote-unquote introduced. Alright, and therefore their banner is still existing, and therefore you can't unit of choice them. So right now you don't see them. So that's kind of like some of the differences between JP UoC versus global. Now even if you can get the unit, let's say you do wait 2 weeks, you've accepted the fact you have to wait, who would you unit of choice and why? Okay, so let's get talking about that. Angelo Lagusa, hello, welcome. Pikachu says, I say lightning. No, I don't think so. So Midnight originally said UoC Wilhelm. So there was one reason why I don't want to do this. The reason is because I don't own a Wilhelm. Midnight will probably be like, lol, or haha, laughing at me, man. Tisk. Well, I don't own a Wilhelm. He's like Barbarizzi and a couple other units. Like for example, Jake. I haven't got my first Jake, so sometimes it's a good thing not to get a unit to start off. But right now, with the units I have, with the gear I have, I don't need Wilhelm as a unit specifically, but I will want his STMR going into the future. Now, for me, I would only use my unit of choice if I was trying to get a meta changing unit to a 7-star. I wouldn't even use a unit of choice ticket if I could only get one unit by using that unit of choice. So like for example, let's say I didn't pull for Hyo, I didn't pull for CG Hyo, and I saw him on this like 2 weeks. I think he comes out at the end of this week. I saw him, I wouldn't even unit of choice him. If that means I only have his 6-star, I would only do it if he's a meta changing unit and I can get him guaranteed to a 7-star. That's the only way I would do it. Another thing to also note is that let's say you didn't pull Hyo on the original banner, and he is released in the unit of choice. Or actually, no, rather, let me change that up. Let's say you did pull one Hyo on the original banner, and let's say maybe you used one of your unit of choice on a Wilhelm as an example, okay? And you wait maybe another, I don't know how fast we can get 10 unit of choice tickets again, maybe another 3 months, let's say as an estimate. 3 months later, you get another unit of choice. Certain things will change where the meta is shifting. So in that case, if you were to ask, should I unit of choice Hyo 3 months down the line, my answer to you might be no. So there's a lot of variables to consider. I'm gonna finish off my thought here, and I will quickly catch up on the comments. So like in that case, we're like almost 3 months after Hyo's release, we're almost halfway to getting Jekt, which with Jekt, he's actually like a better Hyo. People call him the water Hyo. I mean, he comes with killers. He can backload divine ruination frames just like Hyo can, but he can also backload quick hit frames. So like Tidus and future units like Kurosame, Carlet, they can all have quick hit frames. So like in that case, and that banner, Jekt's banner, is really good because it comes with one of the best breakers, Oron. So in that case, I would definitely not recommend unit choicing Hyo. Let's see here. Willieth, hello, welcome to stream. He says, in my case, I want a second Hyo. If I want him even to finish, I can get him using the 5-star ticket. If you want his 7-star, yes, you can, Willieth. But like I said, you would want to get him immediately. Basically, if you're using the unit of choice to complete a 7-star, you want to use it ASAP as soon as they release, because every unit to some extent has a depreciation value, as in they get power creep by someone else. Now, albeit that most units do have their own kits that make them unique to certain circumstances. But for someone like Hyo, like all he really is a fire and lightning imperialer and a very strong backloaded TDH chainer. But later on, you can have different variations of imperialers, different variations of backloaded chainers, and so then Hyo sort of falls off the map. There is a reason why right now and in JP pre-enhancements that Hyo is rated so low in the chaining family, in the physical chaining family. There is a reason for that. So it depends on the unit you're going for, but yes, if you can get him using the select ticket and you really want him, and right now he is meta changing, get him ASAP. Angelo Lagusa says, I only have one Hyo. I can UoC him when he goes off banner, but I will want to save my tickets when Axstar drops so I can straight 7-star him. What should I do? Angelo Lagusa, another thing to consider is that a lot of players have a horde mentality, as in like, oh, I'm not going to pull for Hyo, I'm going to save for Axstar. But by the time that Axstar is released on global, JP will have some like crazy powerhouse unit that does twice the damage of Axstar, and then you're going to have to keep hoarding for them. My advice to you, and again, of course, take it with a grain of salt, consider all sorts of variables, where you are in the game, what you need right now. I would recommend getting it for Hyo, and start hoarding for Axstar after you get Hyo. Yeah, so yeah, he asked, Angelo Lagusa asked how far is he away, and Midnight says 8 to 9 months. Yes, that's true. Yes, Bazilla says Axstar is on a step up also. Yeah. If Global implements JP's Axstar, then that Axstar would have a guaranteed Axstar 25k Lapis single rainbow banner. But that's if they do that. I don't know. To be honest, I think Axstar could potentially be like our Hyo here. They might insert another unit. I'm actually speculating they might insert Carlet in that. Because Carlet isn't, Carlet comes before, so Carlet, for those of you who don't know, Carlet on JP is a paid unit, as in, you have to pay real cash, like yen, to actually obtain Carlet. There's no other way to obtain her, but Carlet is the same as Lauren and Medina, which in JP are paid players, paid units, I mean. But in global we don't get that, so she has to be inserted somewhere, because like Medina was inserted with Rain. Lauren I think had her own banner, I don't remember anymore. But Carlet most likely will be inserted in someone's banner, and that someone's banner will have to be a single rainbow banner, and I think it would be Axstar. They're very close to each other. I think they're only like a month or two away, and she would be relevant in that meta anyway, so I think she would be slotted in there. Lauren, okay, Bad Silly confirmed. Lauren had her own banner. Yeah, I do remember that. I think it was a story event, correct? That's weird. I wonder how JP dealt with that. I wasn't playing JP back then. Dijin Kai, hey Will, welcome. You didn't miss much. We're talking about UoC, but later, of course, you could catch this on YouTube. Oh, they put her on Roy's story banner. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, but she had her own banner. It was like a separate, right? I think I kind of recall that. Yeah, so anyways, yes, don't do a hoarding mentality, at least not 8 to 9 months down the line. Enjoy the game. I would say if you are like looking forward to like some units in the future, like Axstar for example, you know, you could pull for current meta units. Just don't pull too hard for it. Just don't pull for STMRs like I keep advising. And Basilisk says yes. Ah, I see. Makes sense. So myself, I don't want to be someone that kind of retracts his own words. Right now, myself, I'm tending to lean toward using unit of choice tickets to complete an STMR. So I am at that level in global where you know, I'm pretty much getting STMRs, and TMRs are good, but STMRs are where it's at now. Now obviously as a free-to-play player, I'm not going to expect you guys to do the same, so please don't take that advice. Let's say you're a free-to-play player, you get 3 lightnings, you're just like, okay, I'm going to take Jagan's advice, I'm going to get that STMR. No, that's not the case. So what I mean is, like, when you have abundant of resources based on how you play the game, like a whale, you don't want to, I mean, I would have like enough TMRs to gear up a unit so strong that like one lightning STMR wouldn't make much of a difference, unless I'm just trying to showboat, oh, look at my really high attack. But that's not how I play. I'm really pure function, so to me an STMR is like worth the wait, but only if it's like a really good one. So right now, even looking at this unit of choice list, I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on some STMRs that I feel that I've kind of missed out on. So for example, Nalu's STMR, Vajrayana, it's a lightning spear, 2-handed weapon. I really thought that, you know, I wouldn't even need it. I can't even think of any spear users, but now that Roberta has her 7-star, and she's incredibly strong, and she gets a lot of benefits from using 2-handed spear and a lightning elemental spear, because she can imperil it herself, and she gets bonus, I think she gets bonus attack passives equipping with one of the elementals, fire, ice, and lightning. I really want Nalu's STMR now, but I never pulled on Nalu's banner, so I only have 1 of her from an off banner. So I would need another 3. So it's not like I'm going to unit or choice her anytime soon. Like I said, Wilhelm too, his STMR, one of the best STMRs. It's the only heavy armor. I can't believe you can't show it here. You have to wait till they're 7-star, I guess. But one of the best STMRs, I think it's like 110 defense, 110 spirit or something like that, with some HP, like 20% HP. Really good for like Awakened Rain, really good for Merc Ramza even now. But even if you had, if I had 4 Wilhelms, you know, I might even run him instead of Merc Ramza in some circumstances. So all in all, really good STMR. Like, pretty much when you're talking about STMRs, most of them are really good. Some of them outshine another. So like Lunith's STMR, I just realized this, I didn't know this before, but Lunith's STMR is a 45 attack clothing, which will be best in slot for like Jacked, for Axstar, later down in the future, all TDH physical damage dealers. Lunith's STMR is great. I thought it limited at the 45 attack, I thought that was broken enough, but there's a 30% elemental resistance to 4 elements. It's like wind, earth, fire, and something. I was like, what? How did I not notice this? So like every STMR is pretty incredible. Let's see here. I'm gonna catch up a bit. Necro Boost, hello, welcome to stream. Jeremy Jackson, good morning. Loves, hello. And Loves says pull for STMR. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna pull for an STMR. Okay, so on FF8 banner, if you guys are watching me on YouTube in chronology, you know my videos, you know my gameplays. You know that I was trying to attempt for Squall's STMR. Ended up pulling all 3 laps. I think 1 or 2 of them were off banner. I think one of them was off banner. I ended up with 2 Renoa instead, and then 1 Squall. I wanted Squall's STMR, but I couldn't get it. Later on, I got a 3rd Renoa, which Rare Ruby saw, and he's just like, yeah, man, because it's one of his favorite units, or actually is his favorite unit right now. And I was like, oh man, it's like a 3rd Renoa, man, that sucks. But then turns out her STMR is really good. All stats, ailment protection. It's an ability with charm resist. I believe it's 50% charm resist, and 4 elemental resistance up to 60%. Am I correct? Is it 60%? I think it is. And then that elemental part, I'm just like, oh wow, that is nuts, because it just combines two really big ability things into one, and I would say maybe even 3 materia into one. And in a future meta, at least in JP, we need a ton of elemental resistance, like full party elemental resistance. So if you can get it now, start farming it for sure. DJ M Rankin says that every STMR is incredible, quoting me, but then it says cough cough TT STMR. Okay, even TT's STMR is okay if you're spamming MP. So I would say if I did get TT's STMR, that's going on my Nicole 100%. Now that will alleviate Nicole from having too many abilities for his like ability and gear for MP. But instead, then he can equip, like I said, HP and elemental resistance. So if you're running CG Nicole in future trials, you have no problem that that he'll die. So basically what will happen in future trials is you need a physical full AoE cover and a magic cover at the same turn, but you can't do both. So what you would have to do to offset that, and because it's like elemental magic AoE, you want to have everyone's elemental resistance really high, like almost at Omega level, so 100%. All right, it was like 80%. It's like as high as 80%, like for like 4 or 5 elements. It's crazy because I've been asked this by like Loves and stuff, and yeah, Loves just said it. TT STMR is okay for people who have high MP usage. Yes, exactly. So like for example, like if I got TT's STMR, yes, it won't be like ooh meta changing, but it definitely is survivability for the future going forward. So the only STMR that I can think of that is actually not that good is Noctis's STMR. But even though Noctis's STMR is pretty weak, like it's pretty much 2 abilities combined, I would say it's kind of like Kryla's TMR with like Nyx's TMR. So it has like all these, I think it's like attack, spirit, defense, and magic, like plus 20%, and then some elemental resistance throughout. Something like that. I used to think like, oh man, that's the worst STMR, and I still think it's probably one of the worst STMRs, but it's, like I said, it's still going to be useful. The elemental coverage, and then you get some bonus stats on top of it, so that definitely is helpful. If there are people watching this video later and asking, hey Jagan, should I unit or choice this unit specifically? Like I said, I think these are all the variables that you should consider. So let me kind of summarize it. Consider the time in the meta of which you are of choosing that ticket. Also consider, is there a future unit coming down the line that can replace the role? So for example, let's say you have 1 Wilhelm. You're just like, Jagan, should I UoC another Wilhelm? And let's say you're not a big trial buff. Like you don't try to take on trials right on their release. Maybe you don't need a 7-star tank like Wilhelm, and I would say maybe you could wait for Sighart, because Sighart is just as good. I think it's identical base stats, identical passives, but Sighart has his TMR as an ability, not as a shield. Wilhelm's TMR is a shield, so his trust ability is locked to the shield. And why that's bad is because Wilhelm then can't use STMR level shields. whereas passives are easier to cap. So passives are easier to cap. So Sighart, because of his trust ability, is locked to an ability like it's a materia. I think it's 30% HP with some earth resistance, and also 20% defense and 20% spirit. That's his TMR. Because he just puts that in the abilities, he could use someone like Mercenary Roms as STMR as a shield. He has all the equipment slots open. Now, I have said this over and over in multiple videos that abilities or materia are the first to be power creeped. So really, you actually want units that have trust abilities in their ability slot instead of in their equipment slot. That's always the best way to go, because STMR level equipment will push you higher than abilities, because abilities, like I said, if you cap your passives, that's it. You can't go any higher. So let's say if you have like Viktor Marchenko's STMR, you put that on a Wilhelm, his limitation is his shield, right? It's a 65 defense and spirit shield. Yes, it gives his trust ability, but his trust ability gives him more passives. Once you cap that passive, Wilhelm actually becomes handicapped by his own TMR. And so therefore Sighart is actually a better tank than Wilhelm. So if you were in that scenario, you had one Wilhelm, you're just like, well, Wilhelm's really good, right? Wilhelm's long lasting. And I would say, well, maybe consider Sighart. Now, that's not to say that Wilhelm is not good, right? Even in a 7-star future meta, STMR meta, let's say you have all the STMRs available, Wilhelm is still super solid. We're talking about an HP and defense difference of maybe like 100 total defense loss on Wilhelm if you give best in slot STMR gear for both Sighart and Wilhelm, and maybe like a 1000 to 2000 HP loss on Wilhelm. Maybe not even that much, maybe just 1000. I did some builds before and I compared the two, and it's not a big a loss. But if you are pushing for the best, like the best, then you will want Sighart at that point. Let me catch up on the comments a bit. Okay, people are just talking to themselves, I think. Yes, and then so the other thing is, again, so yeah, 7 stars like that, make sure you know the meta, what's coming, do that research first, and then consider that unit, if that unit has TMR that's an equipment or an ability. If it's an equipment, consider someone that can replace that role. Consider someone that has a similar role, but using ability as the TMR. And then last thing, obviously using the unit of choice ticket to complete an STMR. Now, even on that subject, I'm kind of iffy about that too, because I haven't pulled, as you can see, I haven't used my unit of choice tickets because I do have 10 or 12 right now. I haven't used it, but let's say I wanted, I think there was a case where I like completed an STMR just from off banners. I think it was like Seabreeze Darkfina. Yeah, I think it was Seabreeze Darkfina. I got her off an off banner after her batch release, and I didn't. It was a good thing that I didn't. I don't think I pulled for her on her release banner, but I was like, oh, I was one away from this awesome magic whip, right? So I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about unit of choicing it. But what happened was you're just pulling for something else, and then these units become off banner units, and then you were like, oh, I got the STMR. Now, how bad would you feel if you actually use the unit of choice ticket, which is arguably really hard to get? You use the unit of choice ticket to complete the STMR, but then that unit comes off an off banner. So in this sense, it becomes a pretty scary to use. I would only say use a unit of choice ticket to complete an STMR if that unit's STMR is good to have a dupe. Like Emperor Shira's is a Emperor's Ring, I believe. It's an accessory. It gives you crazy amount of passives like HP, defense, spirit, and base HP, defense, and spirit. It's really crazy. Like that, you would want 2, or you would want maybe 10, because each unit that can equip it will have great benefits of survivability. So for someone like Emperor Shira, I would say like unit of choicing him to complete an STMR is actually not a bad idea. You get him off an off banner, you start the next STMR. Something like maybe perhaps more limited would be, let's see on this list here. like Delita. Okay, Delita's STMR is one of the worst ones. I have 7 now. I made him an STMR as soon as I got 4, and I think I had 4 on his release, and then I got 3 off banner. I got 3 off banner, so I did need 1 more Delita to complete another STMR. Now his STMR is really terrible because it takes 2000 HP per turn at the beginning of the turn, and it also counts as a skill used. So he actually hits himself. So what I mean is, if you're using it on like a raid, for example, and let's say you put it on a Hyo, and you dual cast, let's say, Servant of the Blade for 1 turn KO, right? And you're expecting, okay, you could just hit repeat. No, you can't. What happens is, when Delita's STMR goes off, it counts as you actually use the skill. So when you actually hit repeat, it only does 1 cast of Servant of the Blade. It doesn't do both casts. It's super silly. And I know this from experience because that's what I tried to do. I was thinking, oh yeah, 1 turn KO missions, just press repeat on raids. But I was like, hey, wait a minute. Why is every single raid that I enter, I'm not one hit KOing? Until I realized he was only single casting it, because Delita's STMR counts as a skill. It's really annoying. But I mean, what it gives you is 80% attack passive. So not that useful. Don't troll your friends with it. Batzilla says, ha ha ha, I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that, because his STMR is very, very impractical, so not a lot of people will be using it. DJ M Rankin, I'll use my UoC to get a Marie. Okay, I think he's joking. DJ M Rankin is a jokester. He has tons of puns on YouTube comments. It's hilarious. It makes me laugh. I think he's joking. You better be joking, bro. don't do it, man. And here I said, I'm not gonna judge you based on how you use it, but I'm judging you if you use it on Marie. I'm just kidding. Let's see, what else should I talk about? I wanna have all the information I can think of in this video, so it's helpful for some new players and even some older players going forward. Let's see here. We talked about the STMR completion. Yeah, so off banner. I think that's pretty much it. I would say, again, as a newer player, and if you're a free to play player, I totally get the appeal of unit of choice tickets. I totally get you want to use it ASAP. I will speak from this in experience that in JP, I think it was right before I began to whale a bit in JP. I whaled for about 3 months in JP, and I just decided that this is not smart, because I prefer global as my base game anyway. I think I unit of choice. Yes, I think I might have unit of choice before I began whaling, and I unit of choice Cloud. Now at that point, a lot of you guys may be watching this and you would know who Felix Santoso is. Felix Santoso, man, he from what last I heard, he has left or quit FFBE. But I don't know if you ever watch a YouTube video, bro. We miss you. A lot of people miss you, man. And that's a shout out to Felix there. But Felix, I remember him commenting on that video when I unit of choice Cloud. He was like very distressed, and I could totally get where he's coming from. Now that if I look back, like now that I'm a more experienced player, especially with unit of choice, and I understand the system better since I played JP a lot more, if I look back and I see someone unit of choice someone like Cloud, I don't know, I might have the same reaction. Though I think I would just need to hear out to that player, and I would think it's justified. At the end of the day, again, unit of choice is yours. Do with it what you will. For anyone who actually, like, I'm not gonna say they judge you, but quote unquote give you advice, or say that, oh man, you shouldn't have unit of choice. They're not trying to criticize you, and hopefully no one does that in a mocking manner, but it's more of these players come from experience. Maybe they had mistakes, maybe they know the stakes. They're telling you from the goodness of their heart. They're trying to get you guys not to waste your resources, because unit of choice ticket at the end of the day is a very rare thing to have. Yeah, see? Yeah, so loves is like Felix, and then hearts, and then Angelo Lagusa legend heart. Yes, Pikachu, you're right. Yeah, they advise you with more intensity. Yeah, yeah, this happened on my Discord. Some new players come in and say, "Sure, unit of choice this ticket," and then we got all these. PMA gets a shout out. PMA is just like, "No, man, you don't want unit of choice this unit until you really need it." And so he's like the preacher, man, the unit of choice preacher. It's hilarious to read him. Like, even if I'm not responding to his conversations, I'm always reading it. I'm always laughing. But I always understand new players' appeal to wanting the unit of choice. It's like Christmas, right? If you guys saw me pull, oh no, I think my first unit of choice was Hyo. I think it wasn't Cloud, it was Hyo. Yeah, if you guys watched that JP episode, you would have heard my excitement, and I think I did. I mean, I quote myself. I think I did say like it was like Christmas morning or something like that, and it did feel that way. It was my first time ever to enter into the unit of choice room. So this, what you're seeing here, but on JP at that time when I was playing, the roster was huge. It was huge. Like I had to scroll like right here. Like this looks sad. Right? This looks like the loser corner. But back then, man, holy crap. I get really excited. So I totally understand newer players going like, you know, let's unit of choice Shadow Lord, right? I don't know. Hopefully you don't unit of choice Shadow Lord. Hopefully you have been following my videos. My advice is don't pull for Shadow Lord. He would be like a CG Jake level to me, in my opinion. Yeah, Love says, for me, I have used past unit of choice on the 4th unit for the SDMR. Exactly. I think that's exactly how I plan to use it as well on global right now. And again, like I said, it depends on the player. You know, free-to-play players may be like, whoa, Jagan, you pull so hard, you have so much lapis, you have so much tickets, you pull so hard, no wonder you don't need to unit of choice. And that is exactly it. Unit of choice tickets, I believe this feature was designed to fulfill different roles for free-to-play players and pay-to-play players. It's quite a smart concept, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, if you use it, let's say if you used it on your Wilhelm, but like a really good banner comes, then free-to-play players are like, oh crap, I used all my resources, including unit of choice ticket. I can't get this meta breaking unit anymore. And then this kind of thing gets people to say like, well, maybe I'll break out $100 here, you know, just for this banner. That's how they get you. Getting into game theory here, or game design theory. And Kurozine on hello, welcome to stream. And Nero, hello. He says, I already have 2 CG Jake from off banner. Don't preach about Shadow Lord being CG Jake level. Feels bad, man. I did say that on the Shadow Lord banner itself, which on Toto, I said wait for an off banner, because when you get hit with him, you're gonna be happy you never actually pulled for him. Therefore, that's why I didn't pull for Shantoto banner. It's because I didn't care for both units. But for some units, you know, for some players, they maybe want a Shantoto, and I'm just like, no, do not pull for it, because you're gonna get Shadow Lord. And if you get Shadow Lord, then here comes the off banners, and what are you gonna do with that STMR? It's like one of the worst STMRs. It's not an elemental, it's a sword, but it has lower attack than Lightning's STMR. So at that point, even Lightning is better. So I don't know, just ranting, I guess. Morchik says use your unit of choice on Delita. No, I already said no. I already have 7 Delitas. No need. Alright guys, I'm gonna end off this portion of the unit of choice here. I don't want to make a mention really quickly. On JP, there's Valkyrie Profile. Valkyrie Profile made a return on JP. I don't know the full extent of it, and the Mortrix is here, and maybe some JP players are here too that can answer my question. But why is Valkyrie Profile back? Is there some kind of a game anniversary? Or is this how they're gonna conduct their exclusive units? Because why I bring this up, and I know this is a side topic, this is not part of the main Theorycraft, so if you guys made it this far on YouTube, congrats, maybe you get some more info. But Valkyrie Profile comes back. There was another Valkyrie Profile game released in GP? Interesting. Okay, then why I bring this up is if that were the case, then Global could potentially do that. Return some exclusive banners in celebration of games. So why I bring this up is more of a depending on the game. If it has a long life like franchise, you might not need to pull hard for the unit when they're first released. I mean, it's one of the selling points. It's like, oh, it's exclusive, it's time limited, and then people go ham on it and try to get the STMR because you'll never see it again. But then JP has the return of it, so I'm like kind of thank you. Duck Smash on stream says just released on Switch. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, well, Dragon Quest came back on global, but JP already had Dragon Quest come back. But they're coming back for different Dragon Quest releases. So yes, you're sort of right there. But regardless, they are coming back because of that franchise game has made a new game in the series. which makes me think, because Valkyrie Profile on JP, in the timeline we are currently on in global, Valkyrie Profile is the next collab to come on JP. We have so according to JP's schedule, we have Ignis, Citra, and then Valkyrie Profile. So I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I'm not convinced that global will get every single JP collab, like Valkyrie Profile, Xenogears. I'm not convinced of that, but there's a potential now, just because it is two banners away, and depending on how long they kind of extend these filler, I would call these filler banners, not canon. How long they extend these filler banners on global right now will determine whether or not we might get VP or Valkyrie Profile. I'm not quite sure though. This is speculation, but if it is, there is one 7-star unit. I would say you could potentially pull for the STMR, and that is it called Arngrim? Arngrim, his STMR is Bahamut's Tear, which is a two-handed lightning elemental large sword. I think it's like 160 something, 164 maybe attack. Very high, and it's a lightning elemental. And if you're thinking like me, that's the best in slot for Hyo. But that's only if you're a collector though. So don't ham on it. If Love says that guy looks like Guts. Guts? From isn't Guts from FF7? I'm not quite sure who's Guts. Yes, anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this this Theorycraft here, but yeah, something from Berserk. Okay, I have no idea what this is. One second, I'm gonna Google this right now really quick here. Oh, I see. Oh, it does look like him. Well, it looks exactly like him. So this is a comic? Cool. The drawing looks really good. Okay, I'm not gonna get off topic. It's a manga. Okay, I see. All right. Oh man, based on the drawings, if we got a Berserk collab, that would be cool. Too bad I don't think they have any Square Enix ties. Correct? Manga anime? I see. Interesting. Anyways, I'm gonna end off this Theorycraft here. Something you can consider at the very end is just that maybe Valkyrie Profile might come. I don't know. This is high speculation though. There's no evidence of it coming, except that if JP really just released a new game for the Switch, I mean, it might be a perfect time to introduce it, and it slots in the timeline based on JP's timeline. If you correspond that to Global's banner release timeline, I don't know. Maybe I'm considering it. I think out of all the 5-star units, I think only Arngrim's STMR might be the only thing that will last. Freya and Lenneth's STMRs are okay, but they're not great. Maybe, oh no, Freya's actually really good too. Lenith's is the one that I'm not really interested in, but I'll have to see. If they are released, I'll make a video on it for sure. If we get Valkyrie profile, would they even ever release part 2? You mean part 2 like JP? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think they're gonna like actually create more units for it. I think we're gonna get the same stuff. It's just like it's in the bank, and then they're just gonna give it to us. And even in JP they didn't do it, so I doubt it on a global. All right, I'm gonna end this here. I'll talk to the guys on stream in a bit. Anyways, if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode of Theorycraft. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has given you guys some things to think about considering pulling your unit of choice or using it. In my opinion, hoarding it for a while and then looking at the broad spectrum and looking forward into what JP has in meta is probably the best way to go. But again, like I said over and over, depends on what kind of type of player you are. Free to play, pay to play, it will change how you look at unit of choice tickets. So to each their own, you have your choice here. It is your unit of choice, all right? Your unit of choice. So anyways, I'm gonna end that here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.